Welcome back on this sub-series on subjects, and we covered maths last time. Let's look at really science. And if I really ask you a question before getting into what is science really about, uh, are we studying science or are we studying history of science? If you really look at the science books and ask yourself, are you studying science or are you studying history of science? What's the difference between the history book and the science book? In my view, the only difference is history book has details about what happened a few 100,000 years back, done, and how the civilization moved. If you really look at the science book, it talks about the history of what Newton did, Pascal did, Einstein did. But that also happened about 500,000 years back. So aren't we actually studying history of science versus science? Then what is science actually? Now science, that process of science is what science is. What did Newton do and how did he think to bring out the laws of motion? Let's go back to it. The first thing he did was observe. The apple used to fall thousands of years before that and is still falling. But he is the only one who observed and started questioning it, that why did the apple fall down? Why didn't it go in any other directions? And then he started hypothesizing it and started researching about it, talking to people, doing experiments. And finally, he came back to a place where he said that this is a pull which the earth is having for every element. And that's what he called gravity. And from there, he formulated the three laws of motion. Now, rather than learning the three laws of motion and learning about how they can be used to solve some numericals, if you really look at the process, observation, questioning, researching, hypothesizing, experimenting, and then coming to a conclusion. That is what is science all about. We need to train our children in this process and see if children go through this process and use science to learn this process, and they go through this process for about 8-10 years of their life, what will become possible for them? And where all do we use this process in our lives? It could be a problem, it could be anything which you are solving in life. It could be children, some people coming into your house for a dinner, you solving a problem at work, you looking at how to go from here to a different city. You start observing stuff, start questioning it, start researching and experimenting stuff, and finally come to your conclusion. Now, science is a beautiful medium which you can use to train your children and make them masters of this scientific process. And they will be able to evaluate and think and bring out solutions to whatever they are facing in their life. And that is what is science all about. Can we now use the entire science subject and whatever there is in to sharpen their observation, thinking, questioning, experimenting, researching, and skill of drawing conclusions? That's the purpose of science. Let's shift it and really get our children to enjoy science and really find value in science, versus looking at them remembering some formulas, some equations, and solving those problems in their examinations. Let's try this out, and for more, feel free to contact us. And thank you for listening. All the best and happy parenting.